to give consent. If the DPP does not give consent after 21 days, the law says that the ACB can proceed as if the DPP had given consent.
Right.
So in this case, it means that the DPP must give either consent or refuse consent and give reasons within 21 days. Yeah.
So with that amendment then, what does it mean if the DPP is a bit slow in trying to maybe say come up with a decision within 21 days? Does that make the DPP incompetent?
It has never arisen ever since I'm yet to be informed by the ACB, but those scenarios are a thing of the past. The DPPs, even the previous DPP, they've been complying. Within 21 days, you either give your reasons refusing or you give consent.
Right.
Yes.
Now, maybe let's talk about the current issue that is pertaining on the social scene or just in Malawian scene, the Cashgate issue. What is the role of the DPP in the Cashgate issue, for example?
Is coordinating, managing, and having oversight over the prosecution of Cashgate cases.
Right. But many Malawians feel that probably it's taking a little bit long to bring the people to book, especially after the Mkhani report came out. What can you say about that? Is it justifiable that people should think it's taking too long, or the Mkhani report is out, people should just go and be arrested and prosecuted?
All right. In my view, Malawians need to know that Cashgate is an economic crime.
Right.
There are differences. Economic crimes are white-collar crimes. They involve a lot of documentation and financial transactions, which are done mostly by people who are who know their job and who anticipate the law enforcement agencies when they are planning their crime. World over, even international, anywhere, investigation into financial crime takes a long time.
Right.
And even prosecution, because you need to be methodical. You need to pay attention to detail, and that detail requires a lot of time. So I would speak to Malawians to say, in a Malawian term, they must look at Cashgate, in my view, with the way, those who are familiar with the way we cook nsima ya foela and nsima ya ngaiwa. Cashgate cases must be perceived from that perspective. It's nsima ya foela. It's nsima ya ngaiwa. We must cook it very well, or else we'll come out with the kind of half-baked food, in my view. So no, the expectations, yes, they are aggrieved, but they must temper the expectation.
But do we have the power, rather, as Malawians to investigate fully, or do we have the resources to ensure that what has been given to us as a lead in the Mkhani report comes to fruition? Or maybe we don't have the capacity?
Capacity is twofold: human resources and financial. I am of the view that our investigators have the intellectual capacity. Our investigators have the intellectual capacity to do this job. Whether the numbers, that would be a question that ACB and Malawi Police Service, Fiscal, would be best competent to answer. Financial resources, I am of the view that government is really trying very hard to, with the limited resources it has, to put the resources at the disposal of ACB and Fiscal Police. So far, I am encouraged. I am very encouraged.
That's good.
And I would like to tell Malawians that just give us a bit of time, we'll deliver.
We can't wait. Now, is the DPP a politician? Why I'm asking this is because the DPP sometimes has been seen to favor people in the ruling party, especially when it comes to prosecutions. You are new in the position, I know, and I know you've been a lawyer. You already are well versed with your profession. and now you are in this position. What is your comment to that?
I can't speak for the other DPPs. I can say that I believe independence is a fruit of character. If you don't have it, you won't learn it in the job. So I believe that I have the character. I am an independent person. I've demonstrated independence. And I don't think that I would want to compromise on that. However, I know that there are perceptions. Sometimes it's just perceptions, honestly. Perceptions are important, and they're important to me, and I'll try my level best that I act in a manner that is transparent and accountable, but political, no.
Maybe the reason why people say that is because there's been cases or issues that people have been talking about, certain appointments that probably they should never be made by the president. Because the fact that they're made by the president, maybe somebody is going to be biased, that probably there should be a committee to look into such public appointments. Do you think that there's a problem in that this should be changed?
In my honest view, no. As I have said, independence is a matter of character.
Right.
I am sure the drafters of our constitution had in mind that there's some positions that can either enhance governance, good governance,
Right.
or destroy it. And in my view, the balance between the president and public appointments committee is a good balance. The president appoints in a way it appoints you, but public appointments committee can refuse upon if you fail the interviews,
Yes.
if they have assessed you. I am of the view that it's a very good balance there. Yeah.
Now, the DPP also has to work hand in hand. For example, with the Attorney General, I think maybe the Minister of Justice. But then, what if there's no good relationship? I don't know, but we are human beings, and you are all people of the same profession, for example, and probably somehow there was a bit of maybe bad blood,
Okay.
and then finally you are found now to be the DPP, and there's somebody again who's the Attorney General, and that happened in the past. How do you deal with such a thing?
In my view, that's where maturity comes in and objectivity. A distinction must be made between personal lives and professional lives. And mature people are able to make that distinction. So unless the holders of both the DPP's office and the Attorney General's are not mature people, then you have problems. But if they're mature people, people who are committed to a professional life, then even if they had problems before, they should be able to bury the hatchet and act in the public interest. But good for me, that is only theoretical, because
Right.
the current Attorney General is a professional colleague, a senior professional colleague to me, and we have a very good professional relationship. So that doesn't arise in this case, but even if it were to arise, I'm sure both him and I would know that this is professional, and we must act like mature people and work together. But that doesn't arise in this current case.
Okay. You are watching MBC Exclusive with me, Jane Gogodas, and my guest today is the Director of Public Prosecution, Mrs. Mary Kachale. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back. Remember, in this edition, we are talking to the Director of Public Prosecutions, and she's Mrs. Mary Kachale. Madam, welcome again.
Thank you.
Maybe before we talk about anything else, I just want to know your background. What does it take for one to reach this position, to be even considered Just tell us more about your background, what you've done, and why you were even considered. Because you look fairly young to me, and people may be saying, "Oh my God, maybe she's not even qualified." Maybe people just want to know more about you.
As to being very young, I doubt it.
Fairly.
Yeah, I look younger than I am. That is a very common. Ladies don't mention their age, so I won't mention mine. But I can guarantee you, I look much younger than I really am.
You look after yourself well.
Right. My background. I'd start with. I went, of course, to several. My dad was a police officer, so in those days they would transfer a lot. So I went to very many primary schools, including police primary school. So many I can't mention them. Maybe they even go beyond 6. But I went to Providence Secondary School. I did my MSc from there, and then I was selected to go to Chancellor College. I did my at first I was admitted into the Bachelor of Arts, Humanities. Because in those days, people used to say, if you want to do law, you need to do Bachelor of Arts, Humanities. Of course, that's not true, but I did that. And then I got selected into the Faculty of Laws, and I graduated in 2001 with a Bachelor of Laws degree. I joined the Ministry of Justice immediately, yes, because I was committed to ensuring that as a person, I hate injustice. I've always hated it. So I thought the Ministry of Justice fights against injustice. So I said I want to be a part of that. And I joined that in 2001. And I was both in the Attorney General's chambers and the Directorate of Public Prosecutions. So those were the roles I did, defending government in civil matters, prosecuting cases under the DPPs, until 2013 when I went to the legal aid as chief legal aid advocate, only for 1 year. In terms of education, in 2009, I was awarded a Commonwealth Scholarship. And I went to study at University of College London, UCL. And there I did what I call Masters in Public International Law, majoring in trade, investment, and energy. But what I have done, mostly I don't want to blow my own trumpet, honestly. I'll just say that I've committed my life to public service, and my superiors observe that. And they're the ones who made the recommendation for my appointment. Yeah.
No, that's very articulate, and now we know more about you. Now maybe just taking you back to the cash gate. There have been some prosecutions that have taken place, but again, in the public domain, there's this worry that people are getting very like few years. Like, for example, you hear of a case of somebody like in Noah who stole chickens or whatever, they're given 5 years. And somebody who stole more than a lot of millions, maybe they get less years. Do you think people are justified to worry about those sentences?
I would say that the state represents the public interest. It's legitimate to express those concerns. It's legitimate. Yes, it's legitimate. The good thing is courts are independent, and they must not act according to public opinion either. So the courts are justified in coming up with their decisions. If we are against that, we can appeal. There's always an avenue of appeal. But let's not
Who can appeal? Can the public appeal?
The state.
The state can, on behalf of the public?
Yes. If we are dissatisfied with any sentence, anything at all, there's always the avenue of appeal. So in my view, when I hear the public, I don't blame them. I'm not saying that the judge erred. The judge is justified according to how they determine the case, but the public is justified as well. That's the good thing about democracy. We are all entitled to our opinions, and we can express them. They're valid. Yes.
So now you've just been in the position from maybe say August, if I remember correctly. What is on your priority list? I know there's a lot happening and people want you to do things like yesterday, but what really have you streamlined to be like your priority list?
Number one of my priorities are cash get cases. Yes. And economic crime, because cash gets is an example of economic crimes. I will want to focus on economic crimes before any other thing on my list. Economic crime strikes at the heart of the economy of the country because it scares away investors, it scares away, it even goes against even genuine citizens who are very hardworking. It robs them of the fruit of their labor because economic crime strikes at the heart. It's a crime of dishonesty, of misrepresentation, violation of trust. So these crimes, in my view, put Malawi where it is right now. So for me, I believe that the contribution I can make to my country is to ensuring that we prosecute economic crimes efficiently, effectively, so that the impunity, the culture of impunity that I personally perceive is currently in Malawi must be put to a stop.
Right. You've just talked about that you did also when we went to further your studies, you did like an international kind of law in looking into prosecutions. What are you bringing into your job regarding what you have learned internationally?
Just a bit various. At my master's, I did not do prosecutions. I did trade, investment, and energy. But what am I bringing? It gives me, that's why I want to concentrate on economic crimes. I've done international investment law. I know what investors are interested in and look for in a country where they must invest their money. So I know that the current level of economic crime currently in Malawi would scare away any genuine investor because they would know that they will not get a yield, a good yield for their money. Actually, they could lose their money. So that's why I'm using my master's, even though it's not in prosecution, but I'm using the knowledge I gained at my master's level to inform the priorities I should put in my job right now as Director of Public Prosecutions. That's why I want to prioritize economic crimes.
So at the end of it all, what would you like to see achieved in your tenure of office?
All right. I would like that after my tenure of office, people should say, here was a Director of Public Prosecutions who managed to bring honesty into business dealings, public service, and any other area and field that impacts on the economy. I would want Malawi to do better in terms of development after I have done because of my contribution in prosecuting economic crimes. And so that is my goal and that is my hope. Yes.
And maybe just before we conclude, I'd like to ask you a personal question. When you got to be appointed, did it scare you that probably this is just a huge, like the way you've explained everything, I mean, this is a huge job. Even just the roles of a Director of Public Prosecution, there's a lot that you have to do. And here you are, and many people say, oh, women, gender, blah, 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 but you're given this huge role. Did it scare you off a bit, or that made you more determined to, go in there and do the very best that you could?
I will give an honest answer. My first reaction was like feeling like running. Honestly, the good thing is I have a very supportive husband. He's already in the public arena. He's Justice Kachale, Chifundo Kachale. I've been in the Director of Public Prosecution's office for 10 years already. I know. I had an idea, though not completely. Now that I'm there, I know it's completely different from what I thought. It's even worse in terms of responsibility. Yes, but I'd always had an idea, and that scared me. I felt Yes, I might believe that I have what it takes, but it's one thing to think you have what it takes and to actually deliver. And that scared me a bit. But my husband encouraged me and said, you know, you have what it takes. And don't be scared. If you can't do this for your nation, who do you expect to do it? And that kind of gave me the determination, and I'm a committed Christian anyway. I have my favorite verse. I say, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So I told myself, yes, this is a very onerous responsibility. And yes, it's coming at a time when there's casket already, so the pressure will be high. But yes, in Christ I can do all things. So I drew my strength from that, and he hasn't let me down.
So maybe finally, are we assured that we are going to get results from the casket?
In my view, assess me after 8 months. I can guarantee the nation. Do an assessment. Maybe June 30, 2015. Let's assess me.
Thank you so much. We wish you all the very best. And we can only say that may God guide you and give you the strength, because this is a mama's job that you have.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you on the program. And I've learned so much from you.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all we had time for in this edition of MBC Exclusive. And remember, my guest was the Director of Public Prosecutions, Mrs. Mary Kachale. I'm sure you've learned one or two things from her. She's determined to ensure that we have investors coming to this country, and also to ensure that we remove the white-collar economic theft that has been happening in this country. And she's assuring us that come 8 months down the line, we should assess her and see and watch what she's going to do with the prosecutions in this country. So until next time, when we come with another program, I'm Jane Gogodis on behalf of the entire production crew. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.